Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and a very good afternoon to all of you. Uh, Today, we are gathered here to have a workshop session on the communication and EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion. We have our guest speaker, Dr. Adejimi, who is a postdoctoral fellow, Department of Mathematics and Statistics, Tshwane University of Technology from in South Africa. Uh, if I just thank you very much, Doctor, for sparing the valuable time. Dr. Adejimi has a PhD in applied mathematics at Tshwane University of Technology, MSc in mathematics, and BSc honors and a PGDE qualification to be an efficient educator from the National Open University of Nigeria. His field of research is in ecology, numerical analysis, and mathematical modeling, which is carried out in a broad range of comparisons of the accuracy and numerical solutions of the problems of mathematical ecology and stability problems to the dynamical systems. His passion is to represent the unprecedented groups in the community and that have strived him to be the founder of the Black in Mathematics Association. So thank you very much, Doctor, for sparing the valuable time. We have our faculty, staff, and students from the University of Management and Technology. Regarding the session, it will be approximately of 45 minutes leading to the question answer session. All the participants are advised to keep their mics switched off and the camera switched off. If you have any questions at the time of question answer session, you may ask by raising your hands or mentioning in the chat box. So, Doctor, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the time and the opportunity. I say it as a privilege and an honor to be here and to stand in the presence of brilliant minds, intelligent brain, to share a little bit of what I have been doing for the past few years. Just today, like I said, I'm a postdoctoral research fellow at the Department of Mathematics and Statistics, China University of Technology here in South Africa, and I'll just be talking today about communication and EDI. Um, excuse me. These has been two forces in all facets of economy of life today. Your communication, irrespective of the field that you are, how do you communicate your field to people? How do you communicate your passion to people? How do you communicate that imagination in the abstract part of you to people that is outside there? And one of the things that move people in this generation or even in time past has always been how presentable is your content. And once your content can catch people, then they can catch your mindset and concept. And that's what I'll be talking about today. And EDI, which is equity, diversity, and inclusion, has been the forefront championing many causes today in what we have in our present day world. A little bit introduction has been said about me, so I would not want to waste much time about that. I would just go through these are the things I'm just going to talk about today. My journey, communication, it's divided into research and CV. Then equity, diversity, and inclusion is divided into gender, BMA, and Dr. Balajobi Olumuyiwa, and conclusion and appreciation. So let me just tell you about my journey a bit, which I've been read. I had my first degree, which is Bachelor of Honors of Science and Honors in Mathematics at Ekiti State University. Then I moved to University of Lagos in Nigeria as well for my master's in mathematics and to be qualified teacher or because I love to teach. So I had a postgraduate diploma in education, then a TET where I had my PhD. Um, Part of my passion in trying to see um, championing a course in a certain generation has actually led me to hold several webinars like 2 years ago. I'm sorry, last year, I had a webinar, Mathematics in Nigeria, the way forward, and Mathematics in Africa, the way forward. How do I do some of these things? How do I have some of these webinars? I use it through my Twitter platform. Presently, I have more than 20,000 followers, and most of my informations are there. I did another webinar, which is Mathematics to STEM and 4IR, which is Fourth Industrial Revolution. Then I also did a webinar also on Scholarship for All and All for Scholarship, by bringing several people from different field to come talk about how they achieve these things. For example, some people had pass and they got scholarship. How did they do it? What did they do? So I put up some of these webinars to beat down what I call imposter syndrome. Now, imposter syndrome, it's something that looks like you see yourself not fit enough. So how do you beat those things down? You only see yourself not fit enough because you allow it. Yes, it is normal for you to have that syndrome, but you must have the ability to beat that syndrome out of you so that you can come to the reality of the potential and the giftings that is inside of you. Well, I've organized other webinars, or I've been called for other get speaking and how to get scholarship and full funding outside Nigeria. I've had tweet chat, and some of the videos or some of the webinars I'm invited, or I organize, I put them on my YouTube so that other people can have access to this. I've access to talk about in some other places to share my experience. So what some of these things I do is not only in academia alone, but also outside academia, how to be relevant both in the four walls of the university or in the sphere of academia, and also to be relevant in the outside world, because the outside world might not understand some things, but what they want to know is that which you have within you, how does it benefit us? So I've been able to do some of that. So today I want to talk about the communication aspect and the equity and diversity and inclusion, which I'll talk about research and CV, and at the same time the gender, the BMA, and Dr. Olumiwala Balajobi. I won't talk much about research because I went through the university's website and I found that a quite number of meetings have been held concerning research. But I'll talk about CV today. One thing we must understand about CV is your CV gets to a place where you have not been at first glance. Let me repeat it. Your CV gets to a place where you have not been at first glance. So you are not there by physical representation, but you are there using what you have been written. So I said that a means of communication that represents you without your physical body represented can be defined as CV. 1 minute, please. Yes, can be defined as CV. If your CV does not represent you in few seconds, or it is not catchy enough, you might as well be misrepresented or not represented well enough. Now, for example, you are applying for a job or you are applying for a position. You are brilliant, you are intelligent, you have the source, you have the content, you have what it takes to deliver that achieved or desired goal. But you might not be opportuned to speak at the first place. So, what goes ahead of you is your CV. So, if your CV is not informative enough to give or to catch the attention of the person who has the ability to invest in you, if it is not strong enough to catch that attention, what that means is that you would not be qualified for that position. You would not be qualified to display your talent or your giftings at that instance. So it's not all about representation alone, but it's also about content. So content plus representation gives you the desired result. Now, in the present day world of today, there are things that are not acceptable in a CV. But what are the things we look at as highlights of a CV? Number one, it must be informative. Number two, same font. Number three, write words for description. Number four, write your CV in English for outside use out of your home country. And number three, your leadership skill. And another one is your research ability. If these keys are not well represented in your CV, then nothing is being spoken about you. Now, date of birth, place of birth, civil status, citizenship, religion, height, weight, father's name, mother's name, and all of those things are not permitted to be in your CV in the present day world that we are. Nobody is concerned about those items. What people are concerned about is, can you deliver the job? If you can deliver the job, can what you have written in your CV speak well of you to deliver the job? Now, I heard some student or some faculty members that says that I do not have a research ability. But the truth of the matter is this: during your undergraduate, you wrote a project before you could graduate from that higher institution or that university. That project you wrote is your research ability, is your research experience, because you sat down, you made some research, you collected some data, and you analyzed them to arrive at a conclusion that this thing is possible and we can optimize the situation, or we can make this situation better by improvising. So, how do you package that is what you must understand, because the truth of the matter is this: you are selling yourself, but you have to sell yourself in such a way that you can be bought outside there. But before you sell yourself, nobody is ready to see you. What they want to see is your result. So every section in your CV is passing a sense of communication, of commitment, or of investment into the person who want to accept you. I'm going to show you types of CV. One I wrote in 2013, how I improved it, and what I have in my CV today. Because your CV is very important. One of the ways you can shape your world, one of the ways you can become impactful in your generation, it's all embodied in how well written your CV is. I've been privileged to sit on some screening exercise, and you can imagine somebody submitted a CV, and he submitted a CV in French. Now, when I saw the CV at first, it was a no for me. I was like, no, you don't do things like this in this present day world. It was a no for me. So what did I do? I gave it to somebody who understands French, and I said, please, can you just give me in 1 minute the content of the CV? And I sent it to the person. The content was awesome. The guy is brilliant, but the CV is in French. If I had not gone out of my way to know the content of that CV, I would not know that that person is brilliant and he has the ability to deliver the job. But what if it's in a situation where nobody knows you? They have like tons of CVs to look out. That CV will be thrown away. So if you don't understand English, then what do you do is, if your CV is prepared in your own language, find a way to interpret or represent your CV in English. Because the truth of the matter is this: first thing you have to ask yourself, are you a global citizen, or are you your country's citizen? From your country, you can reach to the world globally. And if you have to reach out to the world globally, the means of communication, the language of communication globally is English. Then transform your CV into English. Let's take it a bit further. I'm going to show you a CV, and okay, sorry about that. I'm going to show you a CV. This is a CV I wrote in, I guess, 2013. You see, the CV is like this. It has house address. It has all these. My research experience, what I did as during my PhD, and I have what I did in my master's and what I did in my undergraduate. I have my research interest. I have my, as at that time, I only have 3 publications, which are highlighted here. My teaching experience as a teacher, seminars and workshops I attended, professional affiliations, and my referees. Now, this CV is good, but the truth of the matter is this. At first, is it catchy? No, because it's the font. The present day world don't accept this kind of font. Although this CV at that time got me an admission into the UK, but it became better. Then later, um, excuse me. Okay. Okay, then later I had this type of CV. Now,
Sorry,
what
we
about,
can't. Sorry, we can't see the CV. I guess
oh, okay.
the
I'm
thing is
coming. Let,
that.
let me,
Could you please check it?
yep, I'll do that right away. Let me share my entire screen. Okay. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes, now we can say it. Thank you.
Okay. I'm actually sharing my entire screen. Um, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this was the CV that got me an admission into the UK in 2013. It has my name, my qualifications, my research experience, and what I did in that research. This is University of Lagos, 2012. What I did in that research, my research interest, my publications. Then at that time, I had 3 publications, and excuse me, my teaching and outreach experience, seminars and workshop attended, and my professional affiliation alongside with my referees. Now, this CV is good. It got me an admission, but the font is not good. It is not catchy enough. Some people might have issues with this kind of font. So as time went by, I advanced into this kind of CV where some things are practically wrong on this CV, but I was short of knowledge at that time. Number one, this should not be there because nobody wants to see that. The present day CV does not permit this, your date of birth and all of those information. I still have my professional personal skill and attributes, my educational qualification, and my career objective. So you would observe this part. You can see it's different from what is here. Here I just talk about University of Ado-Ekiti. Here talks about University of Lagos, and here talks about Teachers Institute, and straight away. So between that year and when I did this CV, I had to improve on the representation. Although then it was 4 pages, when I improved it, it was 11 pages. So it has my personal skills and attributes, my employment history, seminars, workshop attended, my publications. I've added more publications to it, and my leadership experience in voluntary as a volunteer organization, um, which was not in the previous CV, but now is in this present one I'm showing you. Then I have my special interest and hobby, and I have my referees and some other informations. Now, this CV looks very shallow. I will show you what my CV is now. Now, this is my present CV. It talks about my academic appointments. It talks about my education and my supervisors, because there are some people, most especially if you're in academia, they do not have the luxury of time to wait for you to talk about your supervisor. But once they see your supervisor, they might as well have collaborated with your supervisors and all of that. So we end up putting it there, my PGC, MSc, BSc, then my certifications, which I did at Open University Australia, and Icahn School of Medicine. Now I have my research interest. I have my research interest, the software which I use to work, LaTeX, MathCAD. Now, this is one of the catchy part of my CV. Why I'm saying you need to sell yourself, but please be careful of overselling yourself, and you cannot meet up. You have to do it moderately. Okay, so I sat down and I said, how do I present myself out there that I'm worthy of any investment? So I created a column in my CV that has to talk about fellowship, honors, and grant in total. So all through my study that I've been able to see, I've been able to secure funding of 92,717 US dollars. For my postdoc, for my doctoral scholarship, I was sponsored. I received a letter of honor of award on community service, which is converted to dollars. I also worked on a project and received an award. I got a postdoc appointment at a university in Hong Kong Baptist University, but I could not go. It was declined due to Irish country of COVID. I received a student award, a travel grant, and a best supporting teacher of the year. Now, what this part does is that it tells the person who wants to invest in you that if this person has secured so amount of money for research projects or for execution of projects, then my investment will not go to waste. Now, all of this is still talking about communication, telling them my teaching experience and outreach experience, all of that, all my teaching and all of that is there. My co-supervision activities and mentoring. I'm supervising a PhD student at the moment. Sorry, I'm co-supervising a PhD student at the moment, and also co-supervising an MSc student at the moment. These are my mentoring activities that I do for now because it's part of EDI. Then part of my outreaches is equity, diversity, and inclusion, which is stated on my CV as a content creator. So what do I do in terms of content creator? I organize webinars for people to come and learn and get exposed. So you see, you need to have the right word for what you do. My services, I'm the founder of Black in Mathematics Association, Voice in STEM. I'm one of their board of trustees and executive member. These are my outreach experience, being invited as a guest speaker. Some of the webinars I've convened or facilitated, my professional affiliations, and my presentations at conferences, and professional development and trainings, my publications. Now let's just go into publications. I have just a few, and languages and my reference. Okay, now, so that is something on CV that I just want to show us. This is a communication. It's a place where it goes ahead of you to talk about what you do and see that you are worthy of investment before you get there. You must be able, if you're the class rep of your class, is part of your leadership skill, is part of your leadership experience. Nothing is too small to sell you out. Think of the things you have done and put it into writing on your CV. That has to do with communication. Now, your writing skill is very important in terms of cold email. For example, a quite number of people want to leave their country and go into another country. How do you approach a professor in a short form? Some of these professors, they receive several emails per day, and they can't go through everything. But remember, out of 20 emails per day that a professor receives, and they decided to sit down to read the code email and choose the one which is better, then it means there is something that you have to write. Your presentation of writing, your flow, your skill, what you do that shows that you are worthy of investment is very important. No too long stories, but very short. Now, for example, let's take Mr. Mahmoud as an example. Is Professor Mahmoud Mas. You don't give him, you call him either dear Professor Mahmoud Mas or If his last name is Mass, you write dear professor. Some of these things are skill that you have to put into place. If you don't put them into place, you might be brilliant in terms of communicating your desired goal or in terms of communicating your expertise. But if the representation and the content is not okay, you might have a problem with respect to that. So everything goes in hand. To get a well prepared food, you need to put your ingredient appropriately in the kitchen so that when the food is well prepared, the aroma speaks to you, the presentation is catchy to you, and by the time you eat it, you feel okay. Then next time you call for more. It's as simple as that. So the way you write is is very important. You can always go online to improve your writing. No man is an island of knowledge. Google is there for you. There's a whole lot of writing ability or writing courses online. This will definitely help. All of this is still talking about communication. Now, before I go into communication, into the next thing I want to talk about, um, you must find a way to conceptualize your thoughts and your pattern. It's rather you say small things or small sentences and they get the gist behind your concept than for you to say a lot of things and nothing is being conceptualized. So the way you paint what you want to do is very, very important. In your workplace, how do you communicate your intention to carry people along? How do you communicate your thought pattern to the high level, to the low level, and to those who are down? Once everybody is being carried along in the order of your thought pattern, then you have everybody at your fingertip. It means you will hear that this person is a good communicator. Then it means in your research field, you can as well communicate your concept to someone who is not in your research field and he gets it. Communication is very, very important. Okay, so let's go to equity, diversity, and inclusion. I'm gonna talk more about this part because the truth is this: everybody wants to have an impact in their generation, but you must understand the ethics, the tenets, the rudiment of how these things are put in place. So we talk about gender equity. Now, I didn't use the word equality. I used gender equity. Of course, advanced women and underrepresented employees in workplace. So what does gender equity does? It promotes gender equality as a universal human right and ensure women leaders and underrepresented groups are recognized, supported, and promoted. Now, if you look at this picture, it's a bit funny. They all look very handsome and beautiful. What this does is that the ability to bring together different people, people of color, people of different mindsets, people of different pattern. How do we come together into one basket and achieve a common goal? This is very important. If this is taken away from your workplace, you would not have a desired result. Everybody, I have a philosophy. When I go to class to teach, there is no dull student in my class. Every student is brilliant. Every student is intelligent. I encourage them, I put them in group, and I take it as a personal responsibility to monitor them. What have I done? Number one, I have taken away the imposter syndrome that I spoke about at the beginning. Number two, I have given them a sense of belonging that, okay, I am not that bad academically, although the results are not good, but it can be improved. So, how do you encourage people of diverse ability in your workplace, in your class, in your community? Once you give them a hope, then you've ignited something. You've started the journey running. So this is what we call equity. Bringing every border together. You strengthen everybody. You strengthen their character. You strengthen their sense of reasoning. Everybody matters at the table. How do they matter? Okay, Mr. A, what can you say about this? Awesome, that's a brilliant idea. Mrs. B, what can you say about this? This is an absolute dimension of knowledge. So how do we bring all this together? Once this is achieved, you have an excellent result. Everybody is praised, then you get the desired result. Now, let's go a little bit into uh, diversity. Now, why did I come up with Black in Mathematics Association? Now, what we do, this is our website. We have this mentoring and mentors platform. What do we do? Is that mathematics have been portrayed in such a way that it looks almost unachievable. It looks like you must be gifted from above to know more about mathematics. So what did we do? We started this, it's a non-profit organization. We gathered people around and we say, okay, this is what we'll do. Let us change the face of mathematics as it is known amidst the underrepresented community. People who love it, but they don't have a model that can be seen to ignite their passion. And this is what we do. So this is another way of bringing diversity to result it into inclusion. Now, your impact on your community. So we came up with a webinar called Careers and Scholarship in Mathematics. So what do we do with respect to this? Is that a quite number of people want to get exposed. They want to know the future of them when they study mathematics and pick it up as a career. So you see, you have a lot to do in your community. But how can you do these things? It's only when you sit down and see how you can bring people together of diverse achievement, of diverse ability, of diverse taste board. Bring them together, include them in one basket, and you will see a fire that will start, that will ignite and change the whole atmosphere. So we had a webinar that has to do with grant writing. A lot of people want to know, they want to secure grant with World Bank, they want to secure this grant in order to strengthen their research and everything. How do we do this? So we come up with folks who are experts in that. Like Professor Jude has generated 8 million Canadian dollars in his project with respect to malaria, in his project with respect to COVID, and I think presently he's working on monkeypox. So we brought him to the community. Come and share your experience. How did you do this? So these are what we call the inclusion in everything. Now, I'm going to diversity. I'll almost be rounding up because of my time. What is diversity? Now, diversity is the range of human differences that include different characteristics but are not limited to race or gender. When these differences are explored, diversity is achieved. Now, traits of diversity, we have socioeconomic status, we have age, physical abilities, religious and political beliefs. Everybody in academia, everybody in industry, everybody in politics, everybody in the artistic industry, they all have differences, but you will see that everybody is working towards one common goal by making sure that everyone is included. So once we understand this diversity that makes us different, then we need to include this diversity to get a desired result. And look at this picture that is here. So I said diversity to inclusion. Diversity in what you have here, if you can see my mouse, and we have inclusion. So as a lecturer or as a researcher, you have a research group, people from different upbringing. How do you bring them together to get inclusion? That nobody is cheated, nobody is set apart, but everybody is working towards one goal. So you can see that everyone is decentralized here. But what inclusion does, it brings everybody together and it gives birth to something that is beautiful. So I said something, I said inclusion removes all barriers and intolerance that exist in diversity to promote a conducive environment where every person is made to feel included and supported. In our different faculty position, this is needed. Once we can put all this together, you will find out that the institution as a whole is on the frontier of breakthrough, either breakthrough in research, breakthrough in science, or breakthrough in leadership, or breakthrough in emotional intelligence. These things are needful. Excuse me. Okay, so the outcome of inclusion, you will see it include everybody, innovation, care, rights, work, opportunities, respect, aid, leadership. And if you look at this, the thinking style, the language, ethnicity, the religion, our thought of thinking, our types of thinking, the experiences, our nationality, our culture, job level, perhaps maybe you are the manager or the head of department and you're a lecturer in that department, gender, physical abilities, age, and race. All these brings everyone together to achieve a desired result. Now, I will explain what inclusion is all about. Now, presently, Dr. Olumiwa Balajabi did something. Now, what did he do? An inclusion act carried out by Dr. Lumiwa details how African and Anglophone countries are being exempted from English language proficiency list. This is an ongoing inclusion activity. So what happens is that, see, all over the world, there are places that English might not be the first language, but English is the major source of communication in everywhere. The accent might differs, but the communication is the same. That the communication is the same does not make me, I, and you a different entity. I speak English, you speak English, we communicate and we understand. So, some other people should not be exempted, because when you exempt those people, what you are trying to say is their gifts, their talent does not matter. But once that ban is lifted up, you have included them into the system. So by bringing them into the system, you are having a breakthrough in research, you are having a breakthrough in whatsoever you are doing. It can be from state to state, it can be from college to college, it can be from nation to nation. Recently, 4 Nigerian that in-region scholarship almost lost their scholarship offer to undertake graduate study at Stellenbosch University. So what did I do? I do not know them from anywhere, so I sat down. That I know it is not easy to get scholarship, but once you get it, you should not lose it on because of a system that is not working. So I took the initiative to write the Minister of Home Affairs here in South Africa and like, sir, honorable, 4 people got scholarship, but they should not lose the scholarship. Please, can you expedite the process of their scholarship application, their visa application, so they don't lose it? Because the funding body that said if they do not come into the country by July 1st, they will forfeit the scholarship. Now, what I did was an act of service and an act of love for the community, not minding their who they are, but making sure that their desired goal and pursuit is not distorted. So this is what inclusion can do. It will benefit others and it is to the advancement of other people. At the end of the day, everybody gets there. This is just to appreciate everybody. Thank you for listening to me. um, I had to rush up because of time. And sorry, I'm running. This guy is running. He's just trying to tell you guys, like, okay, how are you all doing? We must continue to work harder as we journey into excellence. Don't let your present environment dictate how successful you will become. And I wish us the very best. Thank you for listening.
Uh, Thank you very much, Doctor. Indeed, it was highly catchy, informative session from you. And now we move towards the question answer session. If anyone from the participants have any questions, they may raise their hands so that you may ask the question from the speaker directly. So we have one in the chat room. What are the differences between equity and equality?
Okay. Now, equality sometimes. Let me show you a picture from the slide. Just 1 minute. Let me show you a picture from the slides. Okay. Can we? Okay, can you see this picture
Yeah.
here?
Yeah. We can.
Yeah, let me. Now, this is the difference between equity and equality. You see, everybody is equal. We all have the same stand, but one person is enjoying it better. So, what equity does is this person here is short. This person here is short. This person here is short. But this person needs just a little assistance to get to this result. So what do we do in equity is we assist this person who is short and we assist this person who is shorter so that at the end of the day, everybody can achieve their desired results. That's the difference between equality and equity. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah, definitely. So that was answer. Uh, yeah, Kushal, I hope your answer has been answered. You have any more questions? Okay.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam. Yes,
Greetings.
Kushal, you may ask the question.
Uh, yes, sir. My first question is answer is very good example about equity and equality. I understand more than before. Sir, if you give me permission, I have a second question about diversity. This is a big topic, special for Muslim people. Um, uh, what is the importance of diversity for special Muslim people, and when it will occurs? Doctors mention few topics, few things that diversity will occur according to age, according to economics problems, something else. If he will discuss about a special things about diversity, it will be better for us. I don't no more understand about diversity or the
Okay.
importance of diversity. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Before that, let me share a screen to explain. Um. So, oh, sorry. Let me share a screen to explain diversity. Um, 1 minute. Oh, can you all see my screen, please? Now, can you all see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. You see, just imagine. This is A, this is B, this is C, and this person is D. This person is from, let's say, this person is from a rich background. This person is from a middle class. This person is from high class, and this person is from a lower class. Now, everybody are not together. Everybody sees themselves to be important. But the truth of the matter is this: the high class person cannot do all by himself. The rich person cannot do all by himself. He might have the money, but there are mediums by which his desired result cannot be met. Why the middle class is all alone? That is diversity. They are all human beings, different classes of living, different societal status. But the truth is this: everybody needs themselves to come together. And this is where inclusion is. So you can see that this person is knitted with color yellow. You can see this person that is red is knitted with color yellow. You can see that everybody are knitted together, irrespective of our religion, irrespective of our beliefs. What, for example, as an institution on its own, we have the vice chancellor, we have the DVC of academics, and we have the DVC of maybe works and planning. Now you see, the vice chancellor is the main boss in a way of everybody, but he cannot do it all alone. So he needs a DVC that will handle academia. He needs a DVC that will handle work and housing. But you see again, the same DVC cannot also become a lecturer, maybe in the department of microbiology. So they need to get somebody. So you can see, everybody is diverse, irrespective of our ability. But what brings us together is the inclusion. I'll give this last example. Um, okay, just imagine you want to cook or you want to roast maybe a meat. You want to braai it. Now, most braai meat are not boiled. So you need a charcoal. You need a gas. You need maybe a matchbox. You need spices that you would put into the meat. You see, they are all diverse. They can stand on their own and not be useful. Are you following? But once you bring everybody together, the one goal is to get a braai meat. And that is where inclusion is. So diversity does not help. So we need to look, when you come into academia, we need to look beyond religion. We need to look beyond our beliefs. You need to look beyond our age. Because a professor of 1960 might not be able to do some things in year 2000. But you see, that young person in year 2000 and with a professor in 1960 can always come together to do something massive. And that is where diversity must lead into inclusion.
Thank you very much. We have one more question. How the young minds can be made more conducive to diversity in this highly polarized world?
How what?
And the question is in the chat box as well. I repeat myself.
Okay.
How the young minds can be made more conducive to diversity in this highly polarized world?
In fact, I love this question. So let's look at it from this angle. Yes, the world is polarized, but the truth of the matter is this: um, there is enough space. Like I tell people, sometimes go to where you are celebrated, because there you might be diversified, but there you would be included in order to help the growth of that place. And this is what I tell people, most especially the young mind. I'm also young too. Do not blame the government. Do not blame, of course, the government are doing their stuffs, but you see, in your little community, there is a loophole that is there. Fill that space. In your class, there are people who are not as brilliant as you are. Why don't you take it upon yourself to organize tutorial class and teach them? The more you teach them, the more you know. The more you bless people, the more you solve their problems, the more you are also relevant in the community. So start from your small place, and little by little, you keep growing. This is how you can, if by doing that, you are also creating a conducive atmosphere for some certain number of voices who cannot speak. So once you do that, at the end of the day, you don't even bother yourself about the polarized world, because you are also contributing your quota to the system. The government cannot come down and reach out to everyone that is down there, But in your respective community, in your respective place, in your respective classes, there are always loopholes that can make you relevant. Fill that space, touch the lives of people, and you begin to see that the more you do that, the more doors will open to you. So what you are doing now is this: you are touching every diversified person and bringing them into what? An inclusion. So by doing that, they also will carry the same mindset and start going into diversified places and bring them into inclusion. Before you see it, a certain number of the community is blessed. I don't know if I've answered that question well enough.
Yeah, definitely you answered it perfectly in the right manner. There is one more question. That what is the greatest challenge when implementing EDI?
Okay. Well, uh, one thing you must learn is I'm a very positive oriented person, no matter how the situation is looking bad. EDI does not come easy, but you have to be smart, you have to be patient, and you have to know your strategy. You just don't launch out to do anything on EDI. You plan. It's just like you playing X and O. I mean, if you know that game, X and O. It's like a defensive game, or you're playing chess. You plan it very well. Okay, when I had to speak to the minister on behalf of the four Nigerian dad scholar, I sat down. How do I go about this? Who can I talk to? What can I do? So I knew that I might not be able to reach the minister, but my message will get to him and my message will get to the grassroots. So what did I do? I sent an email, copied his media personnel, copied each boss or each head of department. My mail got to the consular of South African embassy in Abuja in Nigeria, and there was a call that a mathematician wrote an email to the minister saying that they should expedite the visa process of those people. So strategy is very needed. You have to be smart, you have to be patient. Then you need to understand the cost of what you want to implement. Then you need to have the right people around you. You can have a good cause and you have the wrong people around you, you would be frustrated. You won't like the end result. So it's all about strategy.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Doctor. If anyone has any more questions, please raise your hands or you can mention the chat box. Okay, so I believe that is it. Okay, now one.
Okay, I think somebody have a question.
Yeah, yes, please. Rahat, you. Yes, Rahat, please, you may ask the question.
Me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes. Sir, when you talk about the inclusion, how can we meet with inclusion when we give some deadline to the students regarding an assignment? They fail to meet that deadline and keep on interrupting in our office on different times, different days that our assignment has been late due to this reason, due to that reason. So, doesn't meeting the principle of inclusion at that time puts an extra burden on us?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, that's all.
That's a very that's a very smart question. Okay, there are two types of people that transfer knowledge to students: those who are lecturers in nature and those who are lecturer but they have the teaching nature. You see, one of them is different. One is more patient than the other. Like myself, I have students who would not submit the assignment when they are supposed to submit the assignment. So this is what I do. Excuse me. I put them in groups and I tell the group leader, and I spot somebody whom I know that will not submit the assignment when it's necessary or when it is due. And I tell the group leader that, see, we are helping this person because we also have to include him so that he can feel among. But his success depends on you. So, and I speak to the other person and I said, if you do not support the success of your group leader, then you are supporting his failure. Do you want him to fail? He will say no. So they work hand in hand and they monitor. It might be an extra burden, but it is a smart decision to avoid. The burden can be on a scale of 1 to 10, can be 8. But if you find a way to include them systematically or strategically, the rate of your burden can come down to 4. So I have some students who are not well to do. I don't always like a student is dull. So I just say maybe they are not well to do. So what do? I mix them up with students who are brilliant in the class and I monitor them. And they give me weekly reports. Okay, sir, I did this. I can see improvement. So when they ask me, what marks do I need to pass this subject? I will tell them 100%. The worst mark that is needed is 100%. The best mark that is needed is 100%. Why? Contingencies and life issues can happen to any student during exam. So if the student is aiming 100, perhaps if life issues happen and he wants to fall, it can fall to 80 or it can fall to 70, and that is still an A. So I tell them, put your eyes on the goal. You need this assignment. You must score 100 in all the tests. You must score 100 in all the assignment. And there are times I go to class with chocolate and I spot those students that needs to do well. They answer the question, I give them chocolate. Now, these are sacrifices you have to do on your part as a result of inclusion. Nobody might applaud you for that, but the fact that you are helping and giving hope to this student, that goes a long way.
Very rightly portrayed. Thank you very much. Any more questions, please? Okay, I believe that will be all. Thank you very much once again for sparing the valuable time. We would be definitely in contact with you to organize, arrange more informative sessions, workshops for our faculty, students, and staff related to your expertise, related to your area. So thank you very much once again, and thank you very much all the participants for joining the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Take good
Yeah.
care of yourself. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.